unless you've been living under a rock,
Mm-hmm.
you must have seen this story across all your social media platforms. So many people talking about he's giving all sorts of opinions. An English former player, now a pundit, made some comments. Look at his face. Look at his face. I'm talking about Jamie Carragher, of course, Liverpool legend, England legend. He made a comment and he really talked down and downplayed the relevance and the importance of the Africa Cup of Nations, Africa's premier sporting competition, Africa's premier football competition, the tournaments that we know African fans all around the world look forward to every other year. He said that the AFCON is not a major tournament. And he said that because Mohamed Salah of Liverpool and Egypt, is not playing in a major tournament, that it is going to be difficult for him to be considered for Ballon d'Or compared to like a Vinicius Junior or a Kylian Mbappe. Of course, he said this, the video went viral, uproar. Everybody talking, everybody complaining, having something to say about it. Interestingly enough, Jamie Carragher made some comments to explain or to clarify what he meant. I won't read the entire thread that he put out, but he wasn't really taking his words back. He said
Mm-hmm.
that people misunderstood him. He said he does not think that AFCON carries the weight of other tournaments. That
Mm-hmm.
if Mbappe has an average season, but should win the World Cup or Euros, he still has a great opportunity. But someone
Mm-hmm.
like a Salah, even if Salah wins the AFCON, he wouldn't be considered for that kind of tournament. He said he doesn't think that it is disrespectful when he says that the World Cup, the Euros, or the Copa America are better tournaments than the AFCON, that it is just his opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Smidlai, and of course, I would just point out and say Micah Richards and Daniel Sturridge did very well to call him out when
Mm-hmm.
he made that statement. But of course, people on social media have been talking about it. Some people have sided with Carragher. In fact, even some Africans, some Nigerians have sided with him. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, there are also people that have said he's talking a lot of crap and have called him out on it. Famously, Ian Wright even said in 2021 that the AFCON is just the most disrespected tournament in the world. Smilai,
Mm-hmm.
where do you stand on this? In your own view, I'll
Mm-hmm.
ask you this very simple question first before we deep dive into it. In your view, is the AFCON a major tournament?
Yes, it is a major tournament, but I just want to play slightly devil advocate here. One, is coming from Jamie Carragher. He's like a clown. I don't think people take him serious. If you look at Obi one podcast, it's like, oh, Carragher say something. Next, please. Next person, please. So it's someone like that you don't take serious. You look at he was trying to grant interview. Remember, in the Dortmund stadium, he was touching player. He was, he's someone that is just that privilege. I don't want to mention it. It's that privilege that keeps him there in that job.
Mm.
In fact, I understand what Carragher is trying to say. The way he put it out, the inner bias in him overshadowed him. He was trying to say that if Musala wins an AFCON and they are trying to do a vote of a Ballon d'Or, part of the voters will not say, okay, he win AFCON, oh, let me take. No, because for you to vote, journalists from the top 100 countries in the world have to vote for Ballon d'Or. And part of those top 100, majority of them are Europeans. They don't really know what in African continent AFCON is all about.
Mm.
So he was trying to say that, winning an AFCON might not necessarily give him an edge in that Ballon d'Or race. But he got overshadowed because of his inner bias for going further to say that is not a major tournament. He got it all wrong at that point. He got it all wrong. And it's that inner bias in him. For me, I just think that maybe he's so obsessed with Mo Salah. It got to a stage that when he was analyzing Mo Salah, Mo Salah tweeted that it's like you're obsessed with me. No, I don't know. And I don't want to read race to this because Musala is getting to the level of Steven Gerrard. That's level legend. It's getting to the level of like Declan Dalglish.
Mo Salah is looking at not just Liverpool, Premier League legend status. Like
Legend. Like
serious, serious.
Kenny Dalglish, Steven Gerrard. So he said that it's at their level. But if you are looking at it from a different perspective, you know that Salah achievement in Liverpool is more than Steven Gerrard. It's more. But because Gerrard is a Liverpool through and through, that's the reason why they see, England player. But so he's so scared that a foreign Egyptian is now their king in Liverpool. I think that one is entering his head. So anything that concerns Mo Salah, Carragher is always biased. I understood what he was trying to say. That it might not necessarily give you edge in the votings for Ballon d'Or, which might be true, in all honesty. Because most people that vote, they're the top 100 journalists and from 100 ranked team in the world. Majority of Africans from Rwanda is 121. There's no existing. They are outside the top 100. How many people are in top 100 in Africa? Maybe about 17 countries or so. That's Europeans. So he was trying to see those things. So for me, I think he got it wrong. AFCON is the biggest tournament, and AFCON is what makes us happy. It's what we respect. See, I fell in love with football with AFCON. That's why I don't watch Euros. Honestly, I don't watch all this European this. If they are playing on a bare floor, I'm true African, and I like the African game. That is my take on that. I think he got it wrong. I think AFCON is a major tournament, and I think that he's running naked now from pillar to post, trying to defend himself on all different social media. I'm pretty sure that he's not having sleep now. And I would like Kate Scott, that game, to ask him this question: when next the Champions League resumes next week? So I wish I wish you guys would get back for me. AFCON is a major tournament, and we love it and should be respected.
I will say this: the AFCON is definitely a major tournament. The reality of it is that the AFCON is a very disrespected tournament when you go outside Africa. A lot of people don't pay it the respect that it deserves. But does not mean that it's not major. No. Like you said, Carragher probably just is saying the way he feels about the tournament. He doesn't respect the AFCON. He's not impressed. I think even I remember a few years ago there was a controversy with Jurgen Klopp and the statements that he made, even though people said that it was just misinterpreted. But the reality of it is that a lot of these Europeans do not respect the AFCON. Maybe because they don't respect the countries that participate. They don't think like, okay, Cape Verde is lowly ranked, so why should we care? Things like that. But it is a double standard because when England is playing against Georgia or is playing against Andorra or is playing against all these countries, nobody talks down on those games. Nobody talks down on those competitions. But then if Nigeria has to go and play against maybe a Guinea-Bissau, then all of a sudden the Europeans want to make it sound as if, oh, now because Guinea-Bissau is not a highly ranked team, it's not a relevant game to watch or it's not a relevant tournament. He's trying to explain himself, and I understand what you're saying and what he's saying about, see, the people that are voting might not necessarily use that as a barometer to put Salah ahead of somebody else. Even though they really should consider it strongly, but they don't rate it at the same level. My only thing is that when you now say, oh, you rate the Copa America, but you don't want to rate the AFCON, for me, that's where I draw the line. Even if you say the Euros, I can even give you the Euros and say the Euros is high quality. But the Copa America, what are we talking about? Canada just finished what? Was it third or fourth in the Copa America, the last Copa America? Canada should come and play AFCON. Let's see how they do. Let's see how they do. In Copa America, other than Argentina, Brazil, and I know, yes, Argentina and Brazil are two of the most, historic, strongest footballing nations in the world. That's why you always say Copa America, oh, because Argentina, Brazil. But let's not act like there's some high quality across the board in South America. Let's not act like that. I mean, North America, we can't even speak about it. Is it Jamaica or Virgin Islands or Haiti, all these countries? With all due respect to them.
Mm-hmm.
But the quality in Copa America is not that high. They don't even have enough countries. That's why they invite North American teams to join them.
Mm-hmm.
So for
Mm-hmm.
me, when you want to rate the Copa, but you don't want to rate the AFCON simply because Messi is not playing in the AFCON, but you ignore the
Mm-hmm.
fact that Mo Salah is playing there. You ignore the fact that Sadio Mane is playing there. You ignore the fact that Ademola Lookman is playing there. That Victor Osimhen is playing there. All
Mm-hmm.
sorts of superstars are playing there. For me, again, it just speaks to that inner disrespect and bias that these people have towards something that is African.
Yeah.
They just, because it is African, they just don't give it the level of respect that it deserves.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a shame. And I think it also just speaks to how we as Africans need to also continue to push this thing in their faces and demand our respect. Because
Mm-hmm.
respect is not just going to be given to us. We have to demand it. We have to take that. We have to force them to respect it. We have
Mm-hmm.
to show them. That's why sometimes when people talk about, oh, why is AFCON played in the middle of the season? The reality of it is that, yeah, it would be nice if it wasn't in the middle of the season, but I don't give a damn. Like, if the AFCON has to happen in January because of the climate in Africa, it's going to happen in January. I don't care what anybody says. Why should we always have to bow to the European calendar? We have to demand that respect and we have to show them that we don't care. We are on your level. And until that happens, people will keep on respecting us like this.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you see coaches trying to stop players from going to the AFCON.
Mm-hmm.
We have to show them that we are on their level.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, a lot of people in the media have been saying all sorts of things, trying to justify what Carragher said. And I'm going to say in the media, in the Nigerian media as well, and I just think, no, we cannot, like, I know that, yes, we don't have the best facilities, we don't have the best resources, we don't have the kind of TV coverage that the Euros and all these other tournaments have. But it does not mean that we should ourselves now join them to devalue our own competition.
Mm-hmm.
Our competition is a major competition, whether they like it or not. The audience is there. Not everything is made for European eyes. Not everything is made for Oyinbo eyes.
Mm-hmm.
The Africans love it. It is major. If you don't love it, fine. I mean, there are some Africans that don't care about the Euros. There are some Americans that don't care about the Euros. If it's not
Mm-hmm.
made for you, it's not made for you. It's the same way when people talk about Afrobeats. Afrobeats is made for Nigerians. Now, if you as a foreigner choose to, or let me not say made for Nigerians, let's say made for Africans. If you as a foreigner chooses to embrace it and enjoy it, kudos to you. Welcome to the party.
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot now come and be telling us that, oh, maybe because, oh, not many Africans win Grammys, that means that African music is not good.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm saying? Because that's the argument that people have been saying. Oh, I know African country has won the World Cup. It does not mean the African tournament is not high quality. It does not mean that it's not a major competition. So I think we need to demand that respect, and we also need to make sure that we are not devaluing our own competition.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot allow somebody like and that's the thing with Jamie Carragher. Now that he's trying to fix his words, Similar, I always say this thing when I'm even talking about you and I and other people that are like us. If the average fan holds a particular sentiment, fine, fans are going to say what fans are going to say. But someone like Jamie Carragher on a huge platform like Sky Sports needs to choose his words better. You cannot just spill things out there because you paint the narrative of a lot of people. And that's why I was so happy that Micah Richards checked him on it and that Daniel Sturridge backed him up. And Daniel Sturridge said, yes, if you are going to rate the Euros, you are going to rate the Copa, the AFCON is on the same level.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to fight for CONCACAF. I'm not going to fight for Asian Cup. Let the Asians and the North Americans come and fight for their competition. I'm fighting for my own competition.
Mm-hmm.
The AFCON is a major tournament and we need to treat it as such. And I'm happy that CAF, every time, every edition, they are getting more serious about it. They are getting better, because we need to put on the highest quality tournament every single time.
Mm-hmm.
The numbers have gone up in terms of TV numbers, the viewership, sponsorship numbers, everything. And we just need to make sure that the next edition is always better than the previous one, always better. If any country is not ready to host it, don't give them. We
Mm-hmm.
cannot allow anybody to take us back. That's the reason why Nigeria cannot host an AFCON. Let's be honest. If Nigeria hosts an AFCON, it's be a disaster. If Morocco is doing one that is ready, let Morocco host it every time. If another country gets ready, then give them the rights. But we need to always make sure that anybody anywhere in the world that tunes into an AFCON match, the person is getting the same level of quality, the same level of excitement. The TV product is just as amazing as if they were watching the Euros, watching the Copa America, the Gold Cup, the Asian Cup, or even the FIFA World Cup. We don't have the resources that they have. If we get into history and all these things, now then carry the resources come out from us, but let's not get into that. But at least as we are, they should pay us our respect and we should demand our respect. And Jamie Carragher, I hope that in your dream, every night as you sleep, that all you are seeing is Mosala and AFCON for the next 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my take on that. The AFCON is a major tournament. Smith, do you want to add anything or should we wrap
No,
up?
no, no. It's just to say that this tournament need to be short. You should to respect the tournament. Understands that Jimmy Carragher is speaking on behalf of so many people. Opinion. And also, I heard one useless man, as he almost say useless, one guy that does not even add any value. He's been unsuccessful in his managerial job. He was collecting red card right, left and center. When he was playing the Premier League, he came out to support Jamie Carragher on the video on the show of shame. I just look at him that what is this one talking about? So for me, I just think that we should not be chasing clouds about this matter. What is wrong? It's not. I can see a lot of people trying to support to get more views, things like that. But for me, I just think that what is wrong is wrong. Yeah, and then what you say, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, and this is why we need to go and show them Pepe on the world stage so
Mhm,
that they will not be able to talk down on us. I mean, shout
mhm,
out to Morocco for reaching the semi-final in the last World Cup. In this
mhm,
next World Cup now, if maybe like two African countries, one, two, three enter semis or one in semis, maybe like two or three in quarterfinals, they will start to realize that we're not joking anymore. We're not joking
mhm,
anymore. Okay, let me just quickly take some comments and we can wrap up for today. Um, it doesn't seem like we're going to get callers today. Because I don't think people want to call in today. So let's just wrap up very quickly. Let me see. Yeah, Timmy said he's not really trying to defend himself. He went on Twitter to double down on his comments. Kamora says the problem is that this isn't just the view of Jamie, it's the view of many like him. They all don't disrespect our beloved AFCON, but it is up to us to let them realize its great importance. Yes, it's not just him. I just think that for somebody like him that is on TV, he needs to be more careful with his words because his words are reaching millions of people. So
mhm,
it's not just him. And when somebody like him says something like that, you empower those other people to come out and say the nonsense that they are saying. That's why the other man with his ugly mustache can come and be talking anyhow. But I don't even want to comment on him too much because he's always he talks down on women's football, talks down on everything. It's just you know, it's you know, it's just always causing one problem with the other on social media. Let me see what other comments. Then Maker says all the continents in the world have their one major tournament. No tournament is better than the other. There is no justification for this statement. That's how I feel about it. It might not be major to you, but it is major to some, and we have to respect that. Um, Taiwo Kunade says CAF has a lot to do in this. The branding, the TV coverage, and outreach, more fans in the stadium during games. Yes, we definitely have work to do. We definitely have work to do, but we also have to understand again that the resources are not the same. Things are different. In Europe now, for example, somebody can find a 30-pound flight to travel
mhm,
from England to whichever country that is hosting the tournament to go and attend the game. Things are interconnected, all those kind of things. It makes it a little bit easier. But somebody traveling from Nigeria to Cote d'Ivoire now or to Morocco for this thing, you're spending millions just to travel. So it's not quite the same. But those are some infrastructural things and whatever that we can also definitely try to get better. Larry says it is up to us or CAF to promote the AFCON. Daniel says Euros maybe AFCON is definitely bigger than Copa America, definitely. Because if Messi retire like this, who they watch Copa? It's just because Messi is there. Limelight says, I actually feel like Carragher might be low key racist. I might be wrong, or maybe it's coming from a point of jealousy. I won't call him racist, but again, it's just that double standard that happens when people are talking about African things. They just look down on it. They don't think that it is as high quality. I hate to say this, but even some Africans have that mentality. When they see something that's with another African, they don't rate it at the same level when they see it with an Oyinbo.
mhm,
Even though they might be doing the exact same thing, the African one might even be better. but I think it's just a bias. I won't necessarily call it racism. Nick says, IoT, forget Canada. Even England cannot win our AFCON. To play in succession against 6 or 7 African teams in tournament is not a joke. Carragher is doing it in the past. He's a racist. Okay. BA says, I think it's a thing of ignorance. This is the same way they don't hold other leagues in the same regard as the EPL. Hmm. Let me see. Timmy says, we haven't won the World Cup, but how many sports do we have in comparison to the size of the association? We only have five. The Europeans have 13, despite CAF and UEFA having 54 and 55 nations. Okay. Oluyimide says, CAF as a body needs to do more publicity on the AFCON. It should advertise on Africa content, major media, and also on others 2 to 3 months before the commencement. John Jones says CAF should improve attendances though. Too many empty seats during AFCON. I kind of already spoke a little bit about the attendance issue and why it's not as easy for Africans to travel and things like that. We're not as rich, that's the reality. Things are also more expensive in terms of travel. It's not as easy. But I think that we can definitely do more to increase the attendance. Because even I, as a lover of the AFCON and a fan, I also don't like when I'm watching matches and I'm seeing empty seats. It just makes it look somehow. So I think that CAF can definitely think a little bit more of what they can do to mitigate those issues.